Jason's Hook!
Alright guys, today we're going to read a poem called Famous, and it's by Naomi Shihab Nye.
Okay, no matter how many times I practice saying the poet's name, of course I get it wrong the second I start teaching class.
And while I'm reading it aloud, what I want you guys to all think about is your own personal definition of famous. Like, what does the word famous mean to you?
Another thing I noticed watching this is, while I was up there talking, I literally felt like I was speaking so incredibly slowly, and I just feel like watching this video that I'm talking a mile a minute. Not only that, it's also that I'm, giving so many directions all at once. I really should have broken that up, because I feel like, if it wasn't me lecturing to grad students, that kids would be much more overwhelmed by all this information at the exact same time.
The loud voice is famous to silence, which knew it would inherit the earth before anyone said so. The cat sleeping on the fence is famous.
The other thing I was thinking about was, perhaps before I even started reading the poem, I should have just had the kids write their own definition of famous down, just based on nothing, without like the poem to go against, and then read the poem, and while I read the poem, then ask them to base that original definition of famous against the way the poet uses it in the poem, and then begin the same discussion that I start after this poem reading, after they were able to already compare their own definition originally to what they think the poet means in this poem.
Not because it did anything spectacular, but because it never forgot what it could do. So now what I want all you guys to do is just real quick, based on the definition that the poet uses in that, like think about what the poet just meant by famous and how it differs from
See, this is what I'm talking about right here. Like, they could have done this part now after they had already written an original definition about famous before I even read the poem, which of course would have been probably something about like celebrities or movie stars or like music heroes, something like that, someone that's really well known. And then it would have been really interesting to investigate how they felt that that definition differed from, the way the poet uses it. Alright, this is taking place after I let everyone break up into groups and kind of discuss what their definitions of famous.
Definition, I thought it was kind of sweet. I said that something that is famous to you.
I like to give everyone a chance to share, but also like the Shire kids, when in talking to their partner, that gives them a chance to participate without having to participate in front of the whole class. However, in this situation, Meg was Diana's partner and she volunteered Diana, so right there I kind of picked on her a little bit because I knew that I could, and said, since she volunteered her partner, that she'd have to go next. But of course, that's a kind of judgment call that you make after knowing the students and knowing if they would respond to a situation like that well. I wish that I had said more after, the people had responded. I kept asking them for the responses, and especially, Christine right here, she had a really great and poetic response to my prompt, and it seems like everything I say after, the student share is just like, okay, next person, okay, next person, cool, yeah. It was just very bland, and I didn't really add on to their own responses, which I really thought could have been a great teaching point. I think I was just a little bit worried about the time here. This has been an echoing production.